Good morning, meteorologist Bob Acarfrio with a tropical update for August 1st, 2011. Just want to send a quick happy birthday to my wife Michelle today. It's her birthday. Doesn't never really listens to my videos, but maybe she will today. We'll see. So anyway, what do we have? Well, again, we're watching our system. It's about 250, 300 miles east of Martinique today. Martinique's right over in this island right here. This thing has been scratching, having people scratch their heads this morning and yesterday. I really thought this would be a tropical depression by yesterday at least. Possibly talking about Tropical Storm Emily today. But then we saw this system really get complex yesterday, kind of fractured off a piece to the west of its tropical wave axis that ran way west of the system. Then we had two entities trying to compete with each other yesterday. Hurricane hunters went in it yesterday, didn't find any closed circulation. It was close yesterday. Again, you may want to debate me on that, but it was close yesterday, and then it just didn't get there. Today, it's actually looking probably worse than it looked yesterday, I believe. Smaller system now, fighting a little bit of southerly shear. You see the ITCZ down here kind of affecting it a little bit. Some shear, which I'll show you on the water vapor loop, and shear maps up to its north too. It's kind of gotten to be a small system. Hurricane hunters are in it this morning. They're not finding a closed circulation system right now, and pressures are actually probably higher than they've ever been. So there you go. What you see here is the mid-circulation center right here. If a low-level center is trying to develop, it'd probably be right on this western flank here in this area. So we'll see what happens today. We'll see if anything happens. It also looks like a little wart right here, a little low-level swirl right here trying to move out quickly out to the west of it as well here, if you look right in this area. So definitely a disorganized storm right now. Really elongated toots from the northeast to the southwest, so it has some work to do. Good news for the islands. Very good news. You know, this will come through in the next 24 hours or so, and really at this point we're just looking at some gusty winds and rainfall, and not a tropical storm or hurricane. So let's kind of widen this out. Well, first we'll put some color on this, and again you can see not such an organized system right now. Remember that beautiful outflow we had? We still see a little bit of outflow trying to develop, but not like it once was. So again, this system now has some work to do. And it could get itself together today. We'll have to see what happens. But right now, my betting thing would be no tropical depression today at all. Maybe tomorrow. You know, we'll have to wait another day now. Looking at the wider view here, again, here's our system down here. You can see not as big as it once was. Some higher shear to the north. Probably some shear from the south with the ITCZ down here pretty active. So again, it's kind of getting squished away in this little area in here. Not really breathing like it once was, you know, as we saw when it was a bigger system. So there we go. We see our trough starting to come down on the east coast. That again, this could have be a major player down the road with this system. Water vapor loop, again, showing you the shear to the north of it. ITCZ probably bringing some southerly shear onto this system. You can see how small this system has gotten now. Definitely the atmosphere is moistened up a little bit, so one little positive for this system if you want to see it develop. But other than that, right now it's looking kind of sickly here out here. And you can see here's that trough starting to dig out in the western Atlantic here. And then again, 850 vorticity. You can see it is still kind of stretched out from southwest to northeast here. Not a tight little ball here. You compare it to Eugene here in the East Pac. That's a nice tight ball of 850 vorticity there. This is not. So you see the differences there with our systems. Shear, well, here's what the shear is going to do. It's going to be in a fairly favorable spot the next 3 days. It's going to probably take more of a westward move since it is kind of weak. It's not really going to move northwest. Move westward, move through the Leeward Islands here, you know, pass close to Dominica, maybe just north of Martinique in that area. This higher shear should probably stay stationary or slowly shift off to the northeast. So it will be in a pretty favorable shear environment. So shear will be, I would call it fairly favorable. Not the best favorable, but fairly favorable. So again, if all else is relative, that'll be, like I said, fairly favorable. Where is it moving? You can see, and I have it on it for a weak system, which it is right now. You can see our subtropical high, Azores high, really strong to its north. I told you that the models are probably underestimating that, and they really were. Even if the system did probably get a little stronger, it still wouldn't have went quickly out to sea like some of the models were predicting earlier. I said this system was going to come farther west, and it will. So anyway, so here we go. It's definitely headed into the Eastern Caribbean. And the Eastern Caribbean is usually our graveyard for these systems to really try to get developed. So again, it might stay pretty weak and then maybe develop, again, if it doesn't hit the Dominican Republic, maybe develop down the road. And I'll show you the models in a minute here and why this could be a long-term threat for the Bahamas or the southeastern United States. But down the road, not right now. Anyway, and here's our trough starting to get carved out here. If we put this, if the system were to get much stronger, and this is going up to the 400 millibar level, you can see still the trough starting to get carved out here. High pressure here, really going to stay in control. So if anybody's wondering, wow, is this going to get into the Gulf? Really don't see that happening right now. There's going to kind of be a block. There's going to be two road blocks, one up in this area and one up here. So it's going to move into the path of least resistance. Would probably be coming up something like this. Whether it makes more of a bigger sweep or a smaller sweep, it's going to come this way. It's going to get funneled in this direction in here. And that's in the long term. Okay, models, real quick here. You see most of the models now have shifted to the west. Again, weaker system, good news for the islands. Probably good news for Puerto Rico. You still want to watch this system carefully if it does start getting itself together. But looks like it's going to slip south of Puerto Rico right now, especially with this weaker system. But just watch it, just in case. But definitely a little better news for Puerto Rico today. Everything's going to focus now, and you've seen these systems do this plenty of times where they stay pretty weak, then they start getting going again as they get near the Dominican Republic. Then our thing will be, all right, does it destroy it and go over the Dominican Republic and weaken it considerably? And, you know, that would be good news for the Bahamas and possibly Florida. Or does it find one of these little channels to go through? Does it go even a little farther west and slip south of the Dominican Republic? You know, those are all, you know, up in the air right now. Again, a long-term threat right now if this does develop for the Bahamas and the Southeast and especially Florida. So we have to keep our guard up down the road here as this system will be coming farther west. And I said it before, it was going to get close to the United States, and it just may. So we'll have to watch it. But definitely a little better news for the islands and Puerto Rico today. Again, more model runs. You see we have, you know, the no gaps model. GFS has come closer. HWRF. GFDL still out to lunch. Still curving this out quickly. Again, I keep saying disregard this guy, especially until we get a system developed. And again, until we really get a system developed, you know, these models are going to be flipping back and forth. We want to look at the overall long-term pattern. And the pattern does feature this system finding that little avenue here to move up. And it's going to be right in this area where it's going to eventually move up, because we're going to have high pressure to the west, high pressure to the east. It's going to have to eventually take this kind of path. Where exactly it does, that's unclear right now. Intensity models, we've really seen them come down a bit, although the ships and the LGEM, they're still saying, hey, in about 96 hours, we're going to see close to a hurricane. It's possible. And a lot of times when these things get in the Eastern Caribbean, they don't develop very quickly. So we'll have to see. You know, the intensity models have been flip-flopping as well. And again, until we really see a system get going, you know, I take these intensity models with a grain of salt as well. So, but again, it's just showing you that conditions are not going to be that bad for development. Like I said, the shear is not going to be that bad. Not perfect, but not that bad. And this is going to be the Euro. I'm just going to show you the Euro and the GFS real quick. Everybody loves to watch these guys. So again, much weaker system now, scooting near the Dominican Republic, and then it takes that avenue. The Euro says it's going to take that avenue over the Bahamas and then just east of Florida. The GFS says over the Dominican Republic, through the Bahamas, and then up Florida. So again, these runs are going to shift back and forth, but that's the overall pattern. You see Azores high right in here, pretty strong. One trough coming down, another one trying to carve out, you know, even a third one. We're going to constantly see this trying to break through the Azores high. And again, if this system stays farther south and weaker, it's not going to take this kind of path. It's going to take a more longer loop. But again, we're going to still have high pressure over Texas here, so it's not going to be able to come straight west-northwest into the Gulf. It's going to have to find that avenue, and where that avenue is, we don't know right now. But if you're in the Bahamas, if you're in the southeast, Florida, definitely one to watch this week. Keep an eye on it. Again, better news for the islands. Right now, better news for Puerto Rico, but still keep your eye on it. Dominican Republic, Haiti, you guys unfortunately could get hit with this system, which would be, you know, we don't want to see this again, do we? But it could be. Bad news for them. If it did go over the Dominican Republic, it would be a little better news for the Bahamas and Florida, which could knock it down some. But again, that's out there, and we'll see what happens. Well, thank you for listening. I will try to have another update sometime tomorrow. If by some chance the system gets going today, I will put one out later tonight. Have a good day.